What is up, guys? It's Socks4One, and today I bring you guys a special video. This video was inspired by Luke the Notable, as he did 100 days in hardcore survival Minecraft. I decided to take it to the next level of difficulty by doing it with every single mod possible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do suggest to watch the video. I downloaded every single mod because this is the same mod pack. Any more mods would make my PC explode. This was a very hard video to record because not only did I end up dying several times, in general this mod pack is harder than RLcraft. Before I show you my successful run, I've now set up a stream schedule and we will be fighting the modded Ender Dragon as well as the modded Wither today on Twitch. But don't worry, I will now be streaming regularly, so don't panic if you can't make it because I'll keep every stream as entertaining as possible. Here's a quick speed run of all my deaths before we actually get to the successful run. Did I mention that I had 450 mods installed? I crashed more times than I actually died. On my first attempt, I actually died on the first night. I was trying to get the sheep to make a bed, but this weird mob was protecting them. I thought of a masterful plan where I would hit him through my window. Are you hunting? No one, because you're dead, boy. Come here, boy! Ah! This did not go as planned. On attempt number 2, I actually found a portal gun in some mysterious chest. We just got a portal gun? My Twitch followers saw this as a window of opportunity. They told me to portal gun to the moon. And of course, I believe them because this is modded Minecraft. I can't play my reaction because silly me, I use copyrighted music. But yeah, I didn't know what else I was thinking. On attempt number 3, I actually got all the way to day 7. Me being me, I try to keep my stream exciting by surviving the night in another dimension. Take a guess on what happened. Killed by a legendary iron sniper. Now you guys know what we're getting into. If you guys want to see me record for another 100 days, this video has to hit 100,000 likes. It's only a high number because it only took 2 whole weeks to record. Here we go, boys. This is day 1 of hardcore modded Minecraft. Haha. Please, Minecraft gods, be in my favor. And that's why we're starting on day 6, because I did nothing but mine for 5 whole days. Already dying several times, I couldn't take any more risks. But I was nowhere close to even crafting anything good. Having my house connected to my mineshaft kept everything nice and simple. Day 7 came and I already equipped myself with better armor than diamond. Feeling proud of myself, I decided to take the risk and start expanding my base. Seeing the daylight for the first time in 7 days made me realize actually how many dangers were around me. Learning from my past experiences, I learned a way to get infinite wood. Food sources and building materials were no longer a problem. Boom. How is that not the most satisfying thing you ever seen in your life? The next day passed, and this is the day I realized there was no way I was gonna survive 100 days. It was only day 8, and I was scared of every single moving object around me. Ah, oh my god, that frog just did like a jump scare. Putting my fear aside, I wanted to check out this castle that I thought could be a potential base. There was also a lot of enemies in that base, so FBI, open up! Get ready to feel a whole world of pain. Mr. Archer, man. Ah! They weren't tough, but they were many. Before I was able to finish them all off, the night fell and I quickly ran home. Nice. Oh, what? Monsters nearby. There was some sort of weird dog outside of my house. It wouldn't let me sleep, so I had to make a bed way up high. On the next day, I came back to finish what I started, but then I realized there was actually a bigger castle next door. To make peace with my neighbors, I decided to eliminate them all. Feel my wrath! Ah! Why are you running? Why are you running? After making peace with all the Minecraft Steves, I decided why not move here instead? And then there was a sign from our Minecraft gods. This is my base. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. With a whole 10 days passed already, I knew I had to get settled in my new base. I also planted cactuses all around my castle because I thought it looked really cool. I made a quick cobblestone path that allowed me to move back and forth from my old to new base. This made transporting items much easier. A new day was here and I was really pumped to move everything. I had to take a different route because there was a mafia of bees outside my house. After breaking into my own home, I was successfully able to transport all my items. The next day, I got more prickly things to surround my castle. Little did I realize these cactuses are actually one of the reasons I'm still alive 100 days later. And we finally were able to mark this as home. I spent the whole day of day 13 looking through new and cool items that I could craft. I came to a conclusion that I couldn't stream anymore because I knew that my Twitch chat would just try to get me killed. Finishing off day 13, I watched my gate open and close a couple times and learned that you can ride ostriches at remarkable speeds. When I came home to sleep, I sadly learned that mobs can spawn inside the base. Scorpion looking boy. Ah! I protected Karen the ostrich and went to bed. I woke up to the weirdest looking cat I've ever seen that is immune to sword damage. How is that even fair? I decided to make turrets inside my base to protect myself from these intruders. I made a level 1 turret that shoots wooden blocks. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, you gonna die today, boy. Boom! It took 6 minutes to kill that weird cat. Wanting to sleep for the night, Minecraft was like, psych, you thought, and it was a blood moon. My cactuses turned out to be extremely effective. You must be asking yourself, why does that matter? There are mobs in this mod pack that break through blocks, including the creepers. Oh god, they broke many holes into my base. Not able to sleep during a blood moon, I started to mine. After surviving probably the hardest day of Minecraft history, I decided I really needed to upgrade my defenses. That's right, it's time to make a moat. They won't be able to reach my base if they fall into a pit. I spent all day on this, and even continued in the morning. But finally, it was finished. Should we test out the moat? Good job, Socks for 1. I spent the rest of the day getting wood because what's wrong with having too much wood? Day 17 was all about improving my home base. The turrets were weak, but what if I had multiple? Haha! We got a security system now. Look at that. And then I crafted way too many torches just so I could place that one torch. The next day I wanted to put my torches to use, so let's make a mine shaft. I had to make a lot of extra chests because my inventory kept on being filled with random ores. So yeah. Just mining. Day 19 was extremely unproductive. I spent most of the day looking at the thousands and thousands of recipes there were just for different types of wood. And out of all those recipes, I decided just to make the classic wooden stairs for my mine shaft. I have no idea why the scorpions sound like frogs. The big day 20 was here and it was time to do some more mining. Emeralds were extremely useful because I could actually make armor out of it. I found like this end spooky stuff that still really scares me and I usually stay away from it. I ended up filling 6 more double chests of random ores that I didn't even know if they were good or not. Most of them were useless because I didn't understand how to use them. I literally spent the next 2 days looking at the millions of items that I could make. The only thing I could make was a slightly better chest that turns out to be actually worse. I ended up watching popular MMOs just to learn some of these mods. I mean, practically I was already a master. It was day 23 and I was tired of sitting around, so let's go on an adventure. I had my super golden apples that I needed to use right away because these bees on drugs kept on attacking me. I had to fight mob after mob after mob. Eventually, I was able to break through to a sand village where I could probably get some good loot. I found some really cool portraits of like creepers and pigmen, and it was the coolest thing ever. And then I took everything else that seemed valuable. I don't know what this was, but I think it was some weapon for the villagers to end all of humanity, but that's just my best guess. Luckily, I came home before it got too dark. And this brick right here is immune to all ranged weapons, so my turrets didn't do anything to him. Day 24 went by in a flash. I made a lot of home improvements, including making all my turrets match. I ended up raiding up a lot more castles because they were really fun. Poor AI being bullied by Socks for 1. The best part is all this loot, but I only understood about 20% of it. Yeah, that was pretty much it. From my last raid, I got somewhere where I could summon a pet wolf. Little did I realize that my turret saw everything as an enemy. No! Before I could change the settings, it was too late. No! It was all good though. I had another one. We had the best time together. We killed cows together, attacked some angry squids. I mean, completely avoid them. And then we went back home safe and sound. Day 26. Ah! There's a bee in the base! Dog, run away! No! Yeah, day 26 was really sad, so here's some really cool spider pigs that I found. It was a new day, but I was still upset from the day before. I tried new crafting recipes, but it didn't really work out the way I planned. My spirits lifted when I found more castles to raid because, yeah, who doesn't like raiding castles? I went out quite far this time, but luckily I made it home before it got too dark. I love turrets. Day 28, I realized that I'm missing most of the basic material. I started building cages so I could force the cows to breed and then kill them later. And of course, I needed to make a wheat farm in order to get wheat. This was very calming, especially after all the crazy things that happened recently. At this moment, I wasn't able to plant the seeds, but my future self, haha, knows that I need cropping sticks. The next day, I learned that you need cropping sticks in order to plant your stuff. I don't know what my ostrich is doing, but I thought it was really funny. And boom, look at that beauty, baby. And that giant wasp made me realize that I'm actually completely vulnerable out here. I decided to make more turrets and put them outside because that's so cool. This would have been a good idea if I didn't have level 1 turrets. And I almost died again because that giant wasp was like, what up? I'm gonna follow you. How am I still alive? It was day 30 and it was time to make my turrets ready for war. They fired wood planks, so I got as many wood planks as I possibly could. And this is when I realized my mistake. Turrets will fire at any enemy target, including the ones that I can't harm. You see that weird dog with the double swords above it? Yeah, that means I'm not high level enough to attack it. Does this dinosaur thing really think it could get past my It went through the blocks! Close gate! Oh, he's in the base! I had to lead him like 100 blocks away from my base so he wouldn't follow me anymore. That was a stressful day. Whoa! Day 31, I decided to take my mind off my base and go on exploring. Not only did I encounter another castle, I encountered the king of all castles. I mean, seriously, this place was huge. There were so many archers that I even popped a super golden apple before I went in. While dealing with the rest of the ground forces, I nearly died because I didn't realize my health was so low. If I didn't have super golden apples, I would have already been dead. There was plenty of loot and even cows. And this castle had a working drawbridge. I basically fell in love. And I slept like a king. Day 32, I had to check the surroundings. Honestly, I think it was just still really funny that I could ride an ostrich. I got a lot of cool loot, including an ender sword that seemed really cool. I found an army of girlfriends, so I made sure to mark that for later. I found a gangbang of different castles, but that was basically it. Haha, I have a castle and they don't. It was a new day and I spent most of the day traveling all the way back to my base. These meanie iron golems made me realize how useless these turrets were because they were anti-ranged. Just look how cool my base looks. Oh, someone just died. I decided to remove all my turrets and now I have too much wood. I guess you could say I was gonna wake up with morning wood. Day 34 and 35 were all about making my base bigger and better. I basically had infinite wood, so I just kept on putting more and more layers. Just placing blocks took up the entire day. And the day after that, I had a little bit of stone bricks, so I was like, hey, let's do a little bit of mix and match. And voila, welcome to my whole new floor to my amazing castle. It looks kind of weird from the outside, but then again, it was pretty epic and practical. The next day was a very scary day. At first, I was just doing normal Minecraft things, and that's when I saw it. That thing. And for some reason, there was an unusual amount of mobs outside, including the mafia bees right outside my base. That thing was in front of my base, so I looked at him and it yeeted me backwards. And I stared at it all day because I was scared it would teleport into my base or something, so yeah, no. Day 37, I had to travel a little bit just to get dirt. Just dirt, could you believe that? Socks World, maybe it's because you're surrounded by an entire desert, but I put the dirt to good use as I made a wheat farm on the new layer on my base. Wheat farms actually take a long time to make, especially when they're pretty big. And I did a little patchwork as well, but yeah. The sun was shining again and it was time to make everything look pretty. And then I realized, what was the point of having a wheat farm if I didn't have any cows? This was by far the hardest thing I've ever done in Minecraft history. Sometimes the cow doesn't even respond that you have wheat and then he just stands there. And then I had to forget about the cow because then I had another thing that got inside my base that I couldn't attack because I wasn't high level enough. I had to do some like insane matrix maneuvers to try to get him out, but yeah, it was a pretty emotional day. Day 39 was a little bit of a roller coaster, but I did get that one cow into my little pen, and I set up all my turrets around my base so I had a really good security system. And I made sure to make them not attack neutral targets so they wouldn't kill any more dogs. I had to travel a little bit to get some more cows, but the sun was falling, so it was becoming a little bit dangerous. I found a nice group of cows, but it became dark, so I retreated back to another castle. There was no bed in this castle, so I kind of just like looked around. It was day 40, and it was also the day I nearly died. It was so hard to get the cows to reach my base because I constantly had to fight in mobs, and sometimes they would just lose interest. So I decided to go back to my base in order to like refresh the cows. On my way back, the craziest thing happened. You see that thing? I don't know, it was on like supersonic speeds. I nearly died. It was moving faster than I was. I did some like building block defenses. I don't even know. I nearly died. It was my heart. I was screaming. I was basically dead. I was so shocked by what just happened. I literally rewatched what just happened because if that were to happen again and I didn't have my super golden apples, I would have been dead. I had an idea where I would attack the cows so they would be angry at me and chase me, but they still moved super slow. Getting a ramp ready to bring him across and then what? Wait. He's moving so fast now. He's moving faster than me. What? I didn't want to kill him because then I would lose him, but I had to pop another super golden apple. Why are they moving super fast now? Like, what is going on with this game, man? What kind of mod is this? Sadly, I had to kill him because then I would have died. I had enough Minecraft for today. Day 41 was a lot better. The cows were actually happy to see me and they followed me. This was the happiest day of my life. I actually had 2 cows. Oh, well, 3 including the baby. I didn't have much time for the rest of the day, so I just started mining. I mined for a little too long because it looks like a lot of things spawned to my base and they were really creepy and yeah. I didn't want to take any risks, so I popped another super golden apple and fought these like weird beast looking boys. It was day 42 and I wanted to take things a little slower, especially with the wasp wasp right outside my door. I expanded my farm to have sugar cane as well, for paper of course. And I organized my chest as best as I could, but then again, I didn't really understand half of it. The next day I noticed that my armor and my pickaxes were starting to break, so I had to get more of that material. And why not get some obsidian while we're already down here? I mean, I haven't gone to the nether yet. And with all the new material, I was able to craft myself a full set of new armor and some new pickaxes. It was a new day and a big day. It was the day we would go to the nether. I took it really slow because I had no idea what was awaiting for me. I saw everything as a high threat because I had no idea how strong they were. My only objective though was to get glowstone because that's how I was able to go to another dimension. I looked around a little bit, but everything looked really scary and I did not like scary things. Yeah, nope, I was out of there. Before the day ended, I decided to build another portal that leads to basically Minecraft heaven. But with 450 mods, it's still extremely dangerous, so I was like, nah. Day 45 went by in a flash. I basically did all the household chores, you know, like cleaning up and organizing, wheat farming, sugar caning. It was a nice day. Day 46 is the day I was like, you know what? I'm growing a pear. I'm going to this other dimension. I mean, it's gonna be totally fine. Like, what could possibly harm me? Wow, this place is beautiful. Look, the cows have wings. This place is... What are those? They got laser beams, laser rifles. We're out of here. No. I ended up spending the rest of the day just looking at recipes that I couldn't make for some reason. But haha, future self knows it's because I needed research points. Did I fail to mention that I actually did this for 2 whole days? Honestly, it's pretty interesting seeing how many different crafting tables there actually are. And guess what? I counted. There was 137 different crafting tables I could make. It was day 48 and it was time to do some wizardy stuff. Since I had obsidian now, I could actually make an enchantment table. But of course, modded Minecraft makes everything super interesting these days, doesn't it? Of course, I chose that I was a female and in fact that I also like females. This part in fact it scared me and I didn't choose any option. Instead, it gave me a magical orb and you know me, let's just use it and I'm now in a different dimension. Great. From the minimap, it looks like I was still home, but I wasn't able to break out of anything. I went through the same options again, but it told me something was gonna happen. So I got out of there, and I knew that I had to put the enchantment table somewhere far away from my base so it doesn't, like, blow it up or something. I placed the enchantment table outside. I went through the exact same process, but this time I just chose that I live alone. Oh, God, we're traveling again. Wait. What? It built a house? For one person, this is amazing. It built an entire house next to my castle. Now that is what I call epic. Day 49 was all about repairs. I got some more cactuses because now I had 2 bases to protect. And I also filled up my old wheat farm because now I'm expanding my bases. And for some reason, that enchantment table blew up an entire section out of my base. And I couldn't even place blocks either. I kind of just like right-clicked and it appeared. So I knew I just had to relog. After relogging, everything was back to normal and it was also nighttime. We were halfway finished with our challenge and it was time to get serious. I wanted something cool to connect my 2 new bases together so they were united. I ended up just using stone walls because they actually look really good. But then I just had to wait for my furnaces to turn all my cobblestone into stone. Everything feels so slow when you're waiting for something. Wanting to switch to my shovel, I accidentally hit my pickaxe that destroyed my gate. My beautiful gate. I was so traumatized by this that I relogged quickly because I thought it was some visual bug, but no. It was gone forever. This is so sad. Can we hit 17 slabs? And I spent the rest of the day clearing up a path to unite our 2 new bases. It was a nice new day where bees weren't even attacking me. And all I did was place slabs. You gotta admit, that looks really good. I was quite motivated at this point that I was halfway there and almost halfway done with my path. Last but not least, I had to place the walls around. And oh God, that's a bee. We are running away. We are going. We can't close the gate. Oh God. Out of anger, I looked up how to make the most powerful sword in the game, but turns out I'm way too poor. Day 52, I did some home improvements, including clearing out my inventory. I still had the enchantment table, so I was wondering if I could actually make another structure out of it, but it was just a regular enchantment table now. What am I supposed to do with an enchantment table that's actually supposed to do what it was supposed to do? But then I remember I still had these orbs. Haha, oh God. We're going back to another dimension. This time I chose that I was married because I wanted a different building. Oh no. What have I just done? I had a wife and her name was Lori, and we had a much bigger house right next to my castle. I was basically making a whole village at this point. Poor Karen the ostrich was getting in my way, so I had to put her out of her misery. Yeah, I don't know why the ostriches sound like cats, but this mafia bee came back and now he was in his territory, so I couldn't do anything anymore. I just had to watch him from inside my base. Day 53 was here, and haha, I still had one of those mystical orbs. This time I chose the final option of living in a village, and oh boy, did I not expect this. I mean, what else should I have expected? I literally got an entire village, like a really good looking one with actual guards. I didn't expect it to be so big. It actually took out a portion of my base, and no, my cows were free. Luckily, with all this new space, I was able to trap them in someone's backyard. Just when things were getting good, the weird dog found me and he started chasing me, and I was hoping the guards would protect me, but even they couldn't do anything about him. I had to run for my life. I made a path to go from the village to my castle so I could get in and out really quickly. It worked out pretty well. Sadly, my Minecraft's wife's base also got destroyed in the crossfire. I was hoping she was gonna leave, but she forced me to repair her house. I was too lazy to repair it fully, so I kind of just improvised. Why are the bees so scary, man? Since I destroyed a quarter of my base in the last day, I had to do some infrastructure. That included taking out an entire wheat farm, and also demolishing most of my expansion, and even a little bit more. Luckily, from all my past mining sessions, I had plenty of materials to keep on making pickaxes. And honestly, the castle was really turning into a home now. Day 55, I started putting up some finishing touches on my base, and even finished out my path. And look who's back, the spider pig boy. But this time I'm gonna fight him, and oh my god, he has some kung fu moves, man. And this is why you gotta build a wall so these hammerhead looking, two-eyed looking boys can't reach me. Haha. Look at him try. When I went to the village, I tried flirting with one of the Minecraft guards, but she didn't like me very much. So I started to think what grave I should put her in. I forgot about the past and I started expanding the village's path to my castle's path. I continued this the next day and oh my gosh, am I green or what? I am so good at this. I was so happy with my design, I made this path all around the village. And of course, getting wood was never a problem. I wanted to go on an adventure soon, so I spent the next 3 days gearing up, mining up. No, seriously, I mined for like 3 whole days. I even found a little bit of titanium, which is actually really good. But turns out I needed a whole lot more of that in order to make anything good. Even though I was mining so much, I never got the ores that I wanted to make the cool and epic armor, or even weapons. There was just so many mods that the ores were basically infinite. Oh, my game crashed again. It was day 60 and we weren't gonna mess around with cows or sugarcane or wheat anymore. It was time to go on an adventure. I hopped onto my ostrich and went as far as I possibly could in one day. And of course I brought my bed with me so I didn't have to survive the horrors of the night. On the next day I found like this weird kind of grave thing, but I didn't find anything too special or actually any loot at all. But I did come across this huge mansion that was massive. I tried to get in, but all those weird dogs were tracking me down like little hunters, man. They wouldn't stop. Oh my god, it was also the rhinoceros. I snuck through the side door, maybe I could see if there was any treasure loot, and oh, he was waiting for me. Now this was more like it was some sort of cave slash dungeon, and I could actually kill the stuff it was spawning. There was like this cool upgraded zombie that like deflected my attacks, but he was pretty easy. The loot was but then again, I didn't really understand any of it. I ventured off with my ostrich when we came across this giant pyramid. Before I would go in, I wanted to sleep for the night, but it turned out to be a blood moon. I stayed in this wooden tower that I made really quickly and waited the night. The blood moon passed and it was time to raid the temple. Other than the cave spiders nearly giving me a heart attack, it had the worst loot I've ever seen. Seriously? Leather armor? What is this? I wanted to raid this castle, but for some reason there was like a huge amount of mobs all around it, probably still from the blood moon. I ran out of there as soon as I could. Luckily we found another mega castle and these people really wanted me dead because they jumped out of their castle just to deal with me. There were so many of them that I couldn't even get close to them. I used high level Fortnite skills of blocking them off and then taking them off one by one. Yeah, it was pretty intense. I also got to sleep like a king. Day 63, I got to loot the entire castle. The amount of loot was unreal. I also took their redstone lamps because I felt like that could be important for my base. Would you look at that? There was a neighboring castle, aka more loot from me. The next day I started to go home because I actually had too much loot in my inventory. But sadly my ostrich died to one of these weird scorpion things, so I had to go all the way back on foot. I came across some scary looking looking cult. They were probably worshipping some anime god. Honestly, they didn't seem that tough, so I came up and started hitting one, but then they started shooting fireballs, and I was like, nah, I'm not about that. Luckily, I was able to escape through a forest. I made sure to kill all the cows because I needed the leather to make a lot of bookshelves. I slept the night in the forest. Day 65 was inside the forest, and I found a lot of weird things. I saw something extra green on my mini-map, and it looked like it was an island. A floating island, in fact. There was a boss called King Slime all the way up here. And, oh, there he goes. At first, I didn't think that was the boss. It was just some sort of minion that he summoned, so I kept on building to the island. There was no boss slime up here, but there was some pretty cool grass that I took. I slept all the way up here because I knew I had a big boss fight tomorrow. And there he was, the big, mighty King Slime. And, he's already dead. I killed all the children. Ha ha ha. I was finally closing home, but I made sure to destroy all the grass because I needed more wheat seeds. But of course, since there was 100,000 mods installed, I got everything except wheat seeds. And would you look at that? I have every single seed in existence, but I don't have my Minecraft bed. I had to hide myself in a hole just like it was day one. Do you hear that? Mobs break blocks. See that crafting bench I placed? It was broken. That means some mob broke it. But I survived the night, so that's all that matters. Did I tell you guys that I found a portal gun and it is freaking epic? Looting up has never been easier. And there was still a castle on my way, so, you know, I couldn't help myself. Who doesn't like slaughtering thousands of different AIs? And the final boat ride to go all the way home. We were so close. We made it, boys, safe and sound. Here's just a little tour of my little base. I think it's honestly really impressive how far we came in just 66 Minecraft days, or whatever days we are, but we really achieved a lot, and it looks really good, especially since half this stuff was just made by random mobs. But you know, it's pretty cool. I spent the next 3 days researching important stuff that I needed. I had so many items these days, I didn't even know what to do with all of it. It took me forever just to empty out all my backpacks and put the items in the correct chests. I watched a tutorial after a tutorial on YouTube on how to make a cool item storage system, but having so many mods made things so complicated. I couldn't understand why I couldn't craft the things it was telling me to craft. Thanks to some tutorials, I learned that I actually needed a research station, and I had to research these new and amazing crafting techniques. A lot of these researches required a lot of materials for me to gather. It was day 71, and I learned that I needed a lot of paper and a lot of leather. On top of that, I also needed a lot of string, which I didn't have because spiders don't really spawn in this mod pack. I summoned these pet sheep, but I didn't even know that their wool could be turned into string. But since they were pet sheep, they actually kept on teleporting to me, and it looked pretty funny. But don't worry, I learned that I can make them stay still. I spent the rest of the day getting the necessary supplies in order to feed my research station. It was a new day, and I had no idea I could actually just put the wool in the inventory and it could be turned into string. I spent so much time looking on how to make a crusher or a smelter in order to turn the wool into string. I feel like such a fool right now. The funny part is that I ended up crafting a thing called a pulverizer, but I didn't even have the energy to power it. Poor Saucer One spent 2 whole Minecraft days learning how to power his pulverizer, but little did he realize he was nowhere near having the proper resources in order to do that. I did end up making this cool water staff, but I didn't even know how to use that, so rip. It was day 75 and I still needed a lot more leather, so I kept on making my cow supply larger and larger. On top of that, I needed some certain research points in order to upgrade my stuff, but I didn't even know what kind of minerals because there was 7 different types of the same mineral but from different mod packs, so you could understand my frustration. You see that orange? Yeah, that's 3 different types of copper. Oh no, 4 different types of copper, but different mod packs. And silly me, I spent the rest of the day looking on how to make string, but all I needed to do was put the wool in the crafting table. Why do I do this to myself? The next day I was like, you know what, forget the string, let's go find some string. I looted as many castles as I could find until I found string. I found this really weird structure and it looked like a trap, and yeah, I was right. But look at that, is that nuclear TNT? For me? Day 77 was about the same situation. I looted up a lot more castles, but still, no string. I went to that weird mansion again, and I took all their cobwebs, because I thought the cobwebs could be turned into string. It wasn't enough, though. I also took these mini head chests, because I thought they were really cool. As soon as I woke up, I placed my heads around my base, because they look really nice. But I had a mission, and that mission was to find string as much as I possibly could. I went back to that mega castle, and oh my goodness, did I forgot about a lot of loot. And guess what? They had a lot of string as well. I was so happy, man. And I was even thinking of making this my main base again because it had a gate. And finally, since I had string, I was able to research some stuff and eventually get my super big warehouse storage system. Day 79, I decided to make this big new castle my new base. So all I had to do was link the two bases using my portal gun. Sadly, I nearly died again because that weird cat thing was moving like literally the speed of light, so I had to use my portal gun to get out. That was also my last super golden apple, so I didn't move from my bedroom till the next day. Luckily, the next day I was able to link my two bases together using the portal system, but I spent the entire day giving the research tab all the materials it needed so I could make my giant storage system in my new base. I'm putting the next 11 days in a giant time lapse. The reason being is that I just stayed at home gathering materials for my research station. I needed to grind this out because I wanted this giant storage system so I could have all my items in one big chest. You know how useful that is, especially when you have millions of items and you don't even know what half the stuff is? There was this part where I had to light up bedrock with flint and steel so I could get some sort of mineral? I really don't know. But I also found a secret room in my new base which had a ton of loot and these super sexy sunglasses. I also fished in my sugarcane farm because it was too dangerous to fish anywhere else. It was day 93 and I was on the final stage of research. It was quite expensive, but I had so many ores these days, it was not a problem. And there we have it. I was able to craft the super bench. I could finally make my giant storage system. The portal gun made it extremely easy for me to travel between the two bases. I placed down my warehouse control box, which is basically a giant warehouse, but I didn't understand it, so I left it for the next day. The next day was a productive day as I started clearing out the room for my storage system. Since this was in the new big castle, I had plenty of room to work with. As you can see, I'm placing giant chests that connect to the control block, and I'm able to search up any item in this giant center. Not only did I have thousands of open slots now, I could literally look up any item that I needed. Turns out it was a blood moon, so I was able to finish my storage room. I wanted to see if my old base was doing okay during the blood moon since there was no gate, and oh, I'm out of there. I'm not dealing with that boy. Day 95 to 97 were all about making my new base home. I first replaced the levers to buttons so I could easily open up my gate and drawbridge. I also made a secret room so if any dangers were to come my way, I was able to quickly get out of there. The hardest part was taking all my old items and putting it in my new storage system. Even though it could basically hold infinite items, I wanted to separate the blocks from, let's say, the food. This took like a really long time. And after 3 whole Minecraft days, I nearly had everything from my old base into my new storage system. And everything was so organized. I could literally look up anything that I needed. Turns out I still needed one more entire day because there was like 20 double chests I had to go through. It was the big day 99 and I didn't want to do any more storage system and I wanted to go outside. Just to be clear, I didn't want to take any risks though because I was on day 99. Just imagine dying right now. I just cleared out some castles because those were really fun to kill and loot. Honestly, I thought I was going to be fighting the Ender Dragon or something, but that's way too much of a risk. It was the big day 100 and I'll be honest, I achieved so much and so little at the same time. There was no way I was going to die in this day, so I just spent this time looking at this really cool village that I found. I really didn't do much. I kind of looked at these guys and see what they could trade and anything, but they were kind of ripping me off. I should have done like a house tour or something, but you know, it felt good. I survived 100 days in this modded survival experience, and honestly, it was really tough and really fun at the same time. If you made it all the way to the end, congratulations, because you deserve a gold star. We had many near-death experience and died several times, so it was so good to actually complete 100 days. If you guys want, I'll do another 100 days or even stream this live on my Twitch, or even both. But thank you for watching, and have a nice day.